First, I guess, first of all, I just want to thank everybody for, it's kind of humbling that you guys are here for me, but I like to say we're kind of all here for the coolness of it. It's a rocket. It's Evel Knievel. It's not really about Eddie Braun. It's about his cell phone going.
Sorry, gang.
That's kind of a womanly ring, isn't it?
Ouch!
Just, hey, it's okay. Like, Gary, don't forget to bring home diapers. No, but seriously, thank you all for being here. It is a bit overwhelming. As I said, there's a reason that I'm a stuntman and not an actor. It's because, I'm kind of like a face you never see. So it feels weird to have all you guys like looking at me. That being said, we got a rocket. It's pretty cool. Who doesn't like a rocket? It's taken a long time to get to this point. I think for me personally, over 3.5 years of a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of anxiety, not because of the actual physical act of trying to cross the canyon, but the struggles and the trials and tribulations it took to get to this point. When I first came to Boise, I was there, and I want to introduce, this is Paul Arrington. He's the local Twin Falls attorney, and he's an oxymoron when you say attorney, because he's an attorney with integrity. This is Steve Golubiowski, kind of like the brains behind it all, and he's the smarter guy. I've always said I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room. I just need to know him. That's it. Yeah.
I got him all fooled.
This is Gary Davis. He is my hand-picked stunt coordinator. And a lot of people don't know, he was Evel Knievel's stuntman. Imagine that. Evel Knievel had a stunt double. And it was this man, Gary Davis. But more personally, I've known Gary for over 25 years, worked very closely with him from TV shows like The Fall Guy to countless movies. So I basically trust this guy with my life. And he has his hands full. So these are the guys that are kind of like the brain trust that have gotten us to this point. And when I say gotten us to this point, a lot of people keep saying, oh, you're jumping the snake, you're going to do it. I haven't done it yet. I would never be so presumptuous as to say that I'm jumping it. I like to say I'm attempting it. Remember, no one has done this successfully in the past, and the only other guy to ever try it was my hero, Evel Knievel, and he wasn't successful. So I'm hoping to be successful, I'm praying to be successful, but it's not a foregone conclusion yet. But I am going to attempt it. So that is a statement I will make. I am going to attempt it.
So it's safe to say this thing's on. Like you said, you've been working on this for about 3 years now. A lot of the Twin Falls, they've heard it before, and everything like that, community of Idaho in general. But, I mean, the jump's on?
As on as I can guarantee it with my physical body, with over $1.6 million of my life savings. They always say put your money where your mouth is. Well, I've done that. Hopefully I'm not putting my foot where my mouth is, but it's as on as I can possibly make it. Every day until I'm strapped in that rocket, every day there's a possibility that there's going to be something, as there has been in 3.5 years, to try and stop this. So as of this moment, it's still on. In fact, today I got a notice from Paul that the FAA gave us, did they not, the official clearance for the airspace. There's elements to doing this that most people don't even realize. You need the land, you need the technology, you need the skill set, and you need the airspace. Doesn't matter how much land you have. You're not launching anything like a missile or a rocket in the air unless the government, the FAA, says you can. So there are so many elements about this thing that people, they don't understand how hard this is. And when you, for me, when I say I'm gonna do something, I give it my all, you know, I try and keep trying. So as of this point here, yeah, it looks like we got a rocket, we got a canyon, we got a ramp, and we have the heart and the will and the wherewithal to do it, to attempt it.
What is it gonna mean for you personally, after pursuing this for so long, to hopefully succeed when you come down the other side and, you know, do something that Evel Knievel didn't do? What will that mean to you personally?
Well, you have to understand, in order to grasp the significance of that, you need to know how I got there, why I got there, and what's behind the motivation. You know, Evel Knievel was a hero to me. I met him when I was a child. And here was a guy that wore a cape. You know, he was like, you know, a superhero. I got to meet him. And after meeting him, the impact that he made on me at that moment caused me to be everything I wanted to be professionally. I wanted to be like Evel Knievel. My first injury was a broken arm because I got my Schwinn Stingray, like a lot of people that tried to jump trash cans. I got a broken arm out of it. So I wanted to be like him. I was very fortunate, very lucky, and very blessed to enter the film business at around 17 years old as a professional stuntman. Over the years, you know, you do things that most people think are outlandish or crazy, but I was fortunate to work with guys like Gary Davis, who ran some of the biggest movies and TV shows of the 80s and the 90s. I mean, so I was very fortunate that I got in with good, credible people, and I learned things, you know. All the while doing this, it was because Evel Knievel inspired me professionally. After 30-some years, you know, my career is kind of, I would say, ending. And what a more fitting way for me personally than to pay homage to the gentleman that inspired me to be everything that I am. I mean, how many, I get a chance on that day to fulfill the dream of my hero. Not to do something he couldn't do, but to fulfill his dream. How many people can say they get the chance, the opportunity to fulfill the dreams of their hero? I venture to guess not many. But my reasons for doing it are, you know, a lot of people speculate, and a lot of people think, you know, it's a get-rich-quick thing. I can assure you it is not a get-rich-quick. It's a get-broke thing quick. But, that, you know, money comes and goes. I've had money, I've had no money, but the chance to do something that you're really proud of, and you know, it's not what I'm doing so much that's important to me. It's how I did it. I feel that everything on this project I've done with integrity and as much honor as I can do. I'm proud with it. I think my team is proud with it. And those are the things that will stand the test of time. Not so much what you did, but how you did it. And ultimately, I'm doing this, or I could say selfishly, there's 4 reasons I'm doing this, and those are the only reasons that really matter to me. I have 4 children. That's all I care about. What do they think of this? And they've seen the tears, they've seen the struggles, they've seen all of that. And if I can pull this off, you know, I'm an uneducated guy. I mean, I went to high school, but then, you know, I didn't go to college or anything. I worked hard, I made some money, and I'm fulfilling a dream. And if my kids see that and they're proud of it, it's going to be really hard for them to not be able to say they can't do something if they saw their uneducated dad work his ass off and put a rocket across the cave. So ultimately, that's all I care about. Everything else is a distant secondary. That's not to say, you know, I hope everybody enjoys it. I hope it's cool. But what I do and how I do it is what's important. And I think if I show my children that, that is a impactful life lesson that you can't quantify in money or dollars and cents. I always said, if I do this and I do it successfully and I do it proud, I can sleep very well at night. Might be on a park bench because I sold off everything else, but I'll sleep very good at night. Listen, Evel Knievel famously said, you've got to be willing to jump a canyon for nothing before you're willing to do it for anything. And that is held so true, because as of this moment right now, I can assure you, I have not received a dime from this thing, and I've spent well over $1.6 million of my life savings. And I'm not a rich guy. I mean, that's literally blood money that I spent. But how do you put a price on a statement that you make that you're really proud of? I think if this thing is successfully completed the way that we've envisioned it, that will outlast me. The statement that I make to my children will stay with them a lot longer than me, and that's all that matters to me. So that's my motivation for doing it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What would you boil that statement down to? What are you trying to say doing this jump? If you're able to boil it down to something.
I would say, if I were to tell my children, I say, don't be afraid to step out there and do something that's nearly impossible. But if you're going to do it the right way. There's no point in listen, I have firsthand seen, Evel Knievel made a statement when he was here. Unfortunately, he wasn't successful, but more importantly, the tone and the lingering things that he left behind, 42 years later, I'm having to fight to overcome. So the way he did it, I don't know that people would say it was the right way, because I've had to overcome all of that. And it was a motivator. I'm not angry about it, I laugh about it, but in the very beginning, there was a Twin Falls councilman. I won't say his name, but he publicly stated, and this is a man of authority, of a title. He said, he termed it a junior varsity attempt. Kind of demeaning. And that always stuck with me, because the man had never even met me. Never even taken the time to find out what my plan was. He just publicly said, this is a junior varsity attempt. And at the end of the day, should I be successful, I would like to meet that man and thank him, because he really motivated. That statement has stuck with me for over 3.5 years. And it motivated me, because he may think it's a junior varsity attempt, but should we pull this off, at the end of the day, I'm going to feel like I was the 4th string quarterback and I just won the Super Bowl inside. And so I had to overcome all of these obstacles along the way. So for me, it'll be very emotional. But up until that point, I try and look at it as a technician. Gary and I have done countless movies. We've done countless action sequences. This is just another elaborate action sequence. I need to focus it like a job. And should I be fortunate enough, and I think I will be, to be on the other side in one piece, I think then the emotional hit. But until then, I just try and focus. It's a job. I'm going to go there. I'm going to do my routine in the morning. I'm going to get my coffee, read the paper, and then just like I do before I go on a film set. And then I'm going to go to work that day. I'm going to treat it like a stunt. Climb in the thing. He's going to communicate to me. Steve's going to, just like we done a film set, and hope for a wonderful outcome.
Eddie, question for you. I guess I don't know if you can answer this. Like, what are the details? I mean, how can people watch this? Like, obviously, the community of Twin Falls has been hearing about this for 3.5 years. How can people see it?
First of all, let me go on record and say I wish everybody could see it. I think it's just cool. I'm proud of the way that we have done it. Nothing I'm ashamed about. And it's a rocket, so it's cool. I would love for everybody to see it. For starters, let me start by the permitting process. We have a permit that allows us only 499 people, period, the end, okay? And it was hard just getting that permit. That being said, if I had my druthers, I would open it up first to military, then to police and first responders, whether I knew them or not. I would love them all to be there and share it. And again, not for profit, not commerce, just because A, they deserve it, and B, it's cool. So it's not up to me. I don't get to make those decisions, who gets to come and who doesn't. That being said, out of the 499 people that will actually be there, I have a film crew and a rocket crew, and they're working their ass off, and it's pretty much gonna take up all of that. I like to tell people when they say they're disappointed, I say, you know, my own family will not be there. So if my own family can't be there, you know, I'm not really concerned about people beyond that. We're making every attempt, it's a very fluid, evolving thing, so we're making every attempt to share it with everybody, and we'd like to share it with everybody. We just don't have the details yet, how that will be. Just by you guys being here, that helps share the experience somewhat with them.
So is there like I know no stream, I follow the thing on Facebook
No,
and
we
like
have-
TV, like,
We have tried everything from, we were gonna live stream it to make sure everybody could see it. We had network deals that were in place. I mean, listen, I had the president of a network call me on the phone, called me and said, hey, I'm gonna go to the New York, the upfronts. Can I go ahead and announce that we're in partnership for Jump of the Century? I said, absolutely, you know, I'm flattered. Yes. When you start finding out the details of what they want to do and how they want to do it, if it doesn't match what your vision is, it's no longer worth doing. You know, when you accept other people's money, you have to also accept their stand. Then I become an employee. Listen, I may go broke over this thing, but the statement that I make is my statement, not someone else's statement. You know, I'm not gonna go looking like a Ricky Bobby up there with all these corporate sponsors that I feel, see, what I do and the way I do it is important. This is not a commercial venture. The last deal that we were entered, up until the 12th hour, they wanted to have creative control over this. And I would have no say-so. So I asked them, theoretically, because you're for profit, if Viagra was your main sponsor, I could be flying a Viagra rocket dressed as a condom. Is that correct? But that's the truth. So far along this odyssey here, and we're doing a documentary of the whole thing, I've said my money, my rocket, my rules. And the only way that I can ensure that the message is sent in a way that I'm proud of is by guaranteeing that with my money. This has, again, never been a for-profit thing for me. It's not about that. In fact, I never thought it would be for a huge loss thing, but the reality is, it is. It's extremely expensive. I've spent just everything to get to this point. But I'm proud of what I'm doing and how I did it. I think these gentlemen are proud of it. And I think that will stand the test of time. And that's what matters to me most.
so there's no, people can't tune in at like 6 o'clock on Fox or
I
NBC
don't,
or something
you know
like
what,
that.
I don't know. We're still working. Our hope and our goal, and I think it will be possible that everybody will be able to tune in and see it. That's our hope and that's our goal. And without the liberty to say exactly everything, we're doing everything to make sure that everybody can see this, because it's a rocket, it's cool. You know, in this day of political strife, of racial strife, of all of that, can everybody just agree, even for like a moment, agree that it's something that can be done that's cool? Not for commerce, but just something that you know, Americans doing American things. I don't know, something cool. I'm hoping that for that moment, anybody involved or watching or observing can set aside all that stuff, the political bias, the racial bias. I won't say religious bias, because I'll be praying a lot when I hit that button. But for that moment, can everybody just say, here's a schmuck, a regular dude that is trying to fulfill a nearly impossible dream. That's what it boils down to. And I just hope it's it's kind of a love letter to my kids, basically. the statement that I made without flies around. It's a love letter to my kids.
So you give us an idea of time and when and where exactly? I mean, anything like that?
Well, we've been aiming for this Saturday, the 17th. That's what we've been aiming for. That being said, it's a rocket. It's gonna when it's ready, there's a lot of weather, as you can see. I get here and there's a lightning storm and I'm going, oh God, please don't strike lightning on this 150-foot metal object out there. So again, it's evolving. We have a window that we're gonna shoot for, right? And when the rocket's ready, I'm certainly ready. I'm climbing in it. These gentlemen give me the okay. I'm hitting that button and praying like crazy. I get to the other side in one piece.
So could it happen on Friday, or could it happen on Sunday, or could it happen next week?
Hell, I wish it could happen today. Yeah, I mean, we got, again, I arrived to a lightning storm. So I hate to say it's gonna happen at this day. I'd rather let my actions speak louder than my words. We're ready. We're trying to narrow the window down. When all those things come together, I don't have to say anything. People are gonna see a rocket going across the canyon.
Weather and wind are a big part. So it's real fluid, our spot. I'd like to say something that Eddie, first and foremost, is a stuntman, not a daredevil. And those are two very different terms. You'll notice that Eddie's name's not plastered everywhere. If you see the rocket, the name of the rocket is Evil Spirit. He's fulfilling a dream he's had for a long, long time. It doesn't say Eddie Braun all over it. When he was little, Evil signed an autograph for him, and like Evil signed on most of his autographs, it said Happy Landings, Evil Knievel. That autograph is going with Eddie. Eddie's all about, when he works, you don't know his name. It's Charlie Sheen 1 minute, it's somebody else the next minute. He's a stuntman. He's doing it because he wants to do it, that's it.
So would you say that's kind of why, you know, when you walk around town, people are like, oh, I don't really know, like, when this is gonna happen, I don't know really much about this. I mean, even as like a news outlet, we were kind of like, that's why we're here, we're like, we need some
I wish we
questions
could give you more
answered.
information. We certainly intend on it happening this weekend. And I would say that between Friday and Sunday is a really good window for us. We have to get this thing over with. Eddie's gonna go crazy.
And broke.
And broke. But, you know, the rocket, for the most part, is done. It got some weather on it last night. A couple things got wet that we're concerned about and dealing with today. But as soon as we have a nice big window of decent weather and there's not wind coming, we're ready.
Is there a time on Saturday that you're shooting for? Some people that we talked to said like 2.
Well, one of the things I gotta have is some sense of normalcy, right? I'm in a foreign area. I gotta be able to do what I do when I go to work. I gotta go get coffee in the morning, you know? And I found a place, they've treated me wonderfully. So I go in the morning, they give me my coffee, I read the paper, and I gotta have some normalcy. So I wanna go get a cup of coffee in the morning, and I wanna read the paper in the morning. And then by that time, I also want my crew to be rested. I don't want guys waking up at dark 30, trying to work on things in the dark, in the freezing. I want them to be relaxed and professional and calm. So that being said, I would hate to try this anytime before noon. Now, it starts to get windy later, so if we're starting on noon on one end and we're trying to get before the 4 p.m. on the other because of the winds and stuff, we start narrowing our window down. But again, I'm hesitant to say exactly when because it's constantly evolving. It's very fluid, and I'm a guy that likes to say something and have it be what I say. So if I tell you a time, then it goes bad, I'm gonna feel really bad. Again, I'd rather let my actions speak louder than my words. When we're ready, people will know it, and they'll surely know it when they see this thing streaking across the sky.
Eddie, how will we know? I mean,
I don't know.
I'm fine.
No, I was gonna say, we want to be there.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
boss
yeah.
was like, hey, we need to know when we need to be there Saturday. I'd be like, okay,
Okay.
need to be there by noon.
What I would say is, we're gonna start prepping things on Friday. Right, we're gonna start prepping things on Friday. And I'm hoping to, between Friday and, listen, it may not go off Saturday. I may have to push to Sunday. I hope not, because then I can pay for the hotel again some more, and that ain't cheap. between Friday and Sunday somewhere, and we're gonna start narrowing that down. I don't know what else to tell you. You guys will know, I guess, when I know. I mean, I wanna share it with everybody, I myself don't know exactly. I know a ballpark.
It won't happen that quick. This is a steam rocket. This is an exact copy of the rocket that Evil attempted. It takes 4 hours to charge this thing.
You mean heat it up, it's like a steam cleaner.
Right. We have boilers in there and we are packing it full of steam, and it takes 4 hours to do that. So it's not like we're gonna go, looks good, jump in. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a process, it's a process.
Talking about the jump itself exactly here, just how far is the space you'll be jumping across here? About how many feet or
Well,
anything like that?
it's presumptuous to say how far I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, Evel Knievel, you know, they say he went a certain distance, he blew back a certain distance.
It's a quarter mile across the canyon.
Quarter mile across the
Yeah,
canyon.
and we've angled, the actual part of the canyon we're at is a little narrower than where Evel tried. But that's insignificance in the fact that, first of all, we angled our ramp. So I have to clear, in order to get across the canyon, it's kind of angled. So I'm gonna have to do, at the very least, what Evel attempted.
Mhm.
Now, if my prayers are answered and everybody's calculations are right, I should easily surpass all of that and it'd be a non-issue.
Gotcha.
So you're angling downstream the canyon slightly to make sure you cover this, at least
At
the
the
same
very
distance?
least, what he attempted, absolutely.
Yeah, we actually, with a laser rangefinder, we went to Evil's spot and we lasered it down to the foot and we said, okay, it was, it's about 1,600 feet. And then we went to our site and we said, okay, if we put our ramp right here, we're shooting the same gap. What actually makes ours a tick more dangerous is because it's not a straight line like Evil's was. Ours is a little jagged to the right. If the rocket veers right, it can get very dangerous very quick.
I don't foresee it being a crazy thing. We've done our best to try and minimize, I want to minimize my impact here in Twin Falls. I want to be welcomed back. I love this community. I'd like to be welcomed back if I'm successful. I'd like to, people to welcome me back, not say, oh God, there's that guy that did.
I do think that the sheriff's department said they were thinking about putting signage, those mobile, flashing signs saying no stopping or standing with some extra patrols so no one can park their car, no one can stand on the bridge.
We drove by there was one on the highway
Yeah,
near the bridge that we saw.
so they're taking measures to make sure that people just can't start putting lawn chairs on the side of the road, and that they're gonna make sure that no one does that,
If you think we're being vague about our launch, maybe we're being slightly vague. We do have a big window and we're reluctant to narrow it down much. Maybe after what he just said to you, you'll understand that what we're trying to not have happen.
So I guess that's why it's been kind of so, like, well, what's going on, what's going on?
Well,
Because like you said, you don't want it
I'm
to.
kind of flying under the radar.
Well, that and we don't know. I mean,
Right,
listen,
we don't-
originally, I thought that this was gonna be a big, a major network broadcast, and they were gonna handle all those questions and all of that, but at the last minute, I found out it wasn't. And then I found out it was again, then I found out it wasn't. I've been just so much outside minutia of things, I said, finally, let's just focus on the job at hand. Putting a rocket across the canyon successfully and in good taste. Listen, personally, I would love to have everybody there. I really would. Everybody that's respect, like I said, military first respect. Anybody that would find pride in something done right. I would love to. I don't get to make those decisions. And I can't, if I could afford it, I would just spring for all of that. I spent all my money on a rocket. I have no more money to facilitate everybody else's viewing pleasure. And I'm not doing this for profit, so I can't really say, spend X amount of dollars, you get this, or I just gotta focus on putting a rocket across the canyon and doing it successful. Aside from that, we're trying to accommodate, but that's kind of our secondary goal. None of that matters if we don't do our first goal, and that's put a rocket across the canyon.
So is that kind of why, I know Scott had like that big old Kickstarter campaign that was on there and everything
Well,
like that.
there were reasons for that Kickstarter campaign. we were hoping, like I said, I secured the rocket and the funds for putting a rocket across. I didn't have any more money to put it out there for everybody else as much as I'd want to. So the Kickstarter was a huge success for us because what it did was it let everybody know that we were attempting to do this. I still have hope, and I think at the end of the day, everybody will still get to see it, and they'll get to see it. It won't cost them any money, and hopefully they'll enjoy it, embrace it, and go, wow, that was pretty cool.
The big thing is the live component. That's the most expensive part of putting on something like this. So we couldn't find the resources to do it live, you know, to have the big national broadcaster do it live. You know, that being said, we are documenting it like the biggest, baddest movie stunt sequence that's ever been documented. You know, so we are not treating this like a documentary. You know, we come from the world of cinema. And so we are going to put out a feature film, and I don't want to call it a documentary, it's a feature film that has a $1.6 million stunt sequence in it, and it's going to be shot like the biggest studios in the world shot it, even though we're shooting it. You know, a lot of people have embraced what Eddie's doing, and we've assembled the best team of filmmakers that we could possibly assemble with the best cameras and the best photographers, and we are going to document it, and we're going to then release that to the world, and it's going to be from a perspective that you could only get with a true filmmaker.
Yeah, and actually, he's here, he's hidden over there. My director, Kurt
I'm
Mattel.
not here, I'm a
Has
ghost.
been
I'm a fly
documenting-
on the wall, I'm a
Okay.
fly on the wall.
All right, but the story of this is so much as important as the 3.9 seconds. The story to get there. I like to say that it's the moment in the space of the folds of a curtain. It's not what's in front of the curtain or behind the curtain. The magical moments are the space between the folds. And we've documented, I mean, listen, I've got a rock god, Slash, who wanted to be a part of this. I've got this cast of characters throughout this journey, and we've documented all of it. Because no one would believe the story behind the story. So we've documented it. It's going to make a wonderful story. I mean, on a side note, Steve and I were in a room, and I kid you not, Mariah Carey, in front of Steve and I, asked if she could sing the national anthem. And on top of that, and she was so sweet, she started rehearsing or singing it for us. Oh, it would sound like this.
And got in the rocket, and we're going, how did we end up here? Like, how is Mariah Carey singing the national anthem in your rocket? Going,
Right. So, and we've documented all this. The story behind this is what's fascinating. And like I said, I've been wonderfully blessed to have Kurt Matilla. He's hidden behind you. He is my director, and my other producer is Alex Durbin, and they've documented every bit of this, from my tears to my everything. And that's the story behind this. You know, the 3.9 seconds, everybody go, ooh, ah, okay, a rocket, you made it, okay, cool. But that's not really where the tears were, and where the struggles were, and where the passion. That's the story. And if anybody cares to see it, it's going to be, and I would hope the world would see it. It's the story. It's kind of the story, like I said, on the way here, Kurt was filming, and I needed to make a statement in case this goes bad. I wanted to make a statement, and he filmed it. No matter how this goes, whether it's totally successful or totally disastrous, I still want the story told, and it's kind of like a love letter to my 4 kids on how you can go after something that's nearly impossible, and you can achieve it. If I'm successful, like I said, I'm going to feel like a 5th string no-name quarterback that just won the Super Bowl. That's how I'm going to feel, whether the councilman thinks that I'm still junior varsity or not. That's ultimately what this is. To me, personally, it's much more than just a stunt. Just like, it's more internal than external, actually. It's not, hey, the world, look at, I did this. It's more to my family, look, it's possible. And, you know, like I said, it's gonna be really hard, if I'm successful, it's gonna be hard for my kids to ever tell themselves they can't do something, or at least try everything. Try, and that's all that matters to me. Aside from that, you know, let's get this over with, I'm ready. I've never talked so much about a stunt that I haven't done in my career, in my life.
I think we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to say, let's just let the actions speak louder than the words, and I hope you guys are proud of it at the end of the day. I hope, you know, you guys come away and go, wow, that was cool, and it was done in a cool way.